Now, even though the people on this train have baggage and they think they know all they need to know about each other, human curiosity does assert itself. And when someone finds themselves curious about another, they might actually ask questions. And asking questions can have a habit of becoming a conversation. And you never know what's going to happen when folks start conversing. I mean, they might argue, they might fight. But sometimes they actually listen and maybe even learn something. At the counter in the dining car behind a woman with looks he'd never seen before, but everything about her says charm and style and grace. When she gets to the register, she orders a drink, an iced cappuccino with soy, I think, but he was preoccupied in trying to surmise her race. Well, she wasn't quite white, and she wasn't quite black, she wasn't quite this, and she wasn't quite that. In fact, I guess she wasn't quite anything, he supposed. Now, he didn't want to harass her or come off crass, but a question was burning and he started to ask, and she said, "Save your breath, I can guess what you want to know." See, everywhere I go, folks stare at me, trying to decode what I'm supposed to be, but truth is, mister, calculating me ain't so easy, even for me. But since you got the interest and I got the time, I'll keep that question from smoking your mind. Just buy my coffee and I'll tell you what I be. So the guy says, "No sweat. That's a bet. I'm always curious to know what I don't know yet. So for me, that's worth a cup of joe, or maybe even two." Then he reached in his pocket, pulled out the money, paid for the coffee, and said, "There you go, honey. Now sit down, girl. Tell me, what in the world is you?" Well, that's when she took a deep breath. And she said, "Well, a Jew, Italian, Irish, Haitian, Dominican, African, Asian, Mexican, Puerto, Nigeria, Brazilian's what I am. And I'm knit to fit like a patchwork quilt, and from my sweat this here country is built. But keep it simple, stupid, call me American. Well, you can just call me American. You can just call me American. Though sometimes I ain't quite sure just what that means. But from sea to shining sea, there are 300 million me's, red, white, and blue, and every in between. We about democracy and how this one differs from the ancient Greeks. They broached subjects most folks will say is taboo. They talked about love and religion and politics, the Taliban and the Dixie Chicks, Democrats, Republicans, and green rainbows too. They spoke about when to use the Oxford comma, joked about Congress and all its drama, and wondered whether the economy is really bouncing back. About whose fault it is now that our climate's changing, of trucks and such and good shooting ranges, and why he preferred a PC but she likes a Mac. Yeah, they yacked so much they lost track of time, and though they differed, they began to find that they were becoming less enemies, if not friends. Then she checked her watch and said, "Gotta run. Thanks for the talk, I've enjoyed it, hon. Who can say maybe one day we'll see each other again?" And then they both shook hands and said no more, and she grabbed her purse and headed toward the door. That's when some dude looking real confused comes over real slow. He goes, "Say, buddy, seem like you know that woman. Do you mind very much if I ask you something?" And the guy goes, "Save your breath, I can guess what you want to know." Well, that's when he took a deep breath. And he said, "Well, a Jew, Irish, Haitian, Dominican, African, Asian, Mexican, Puerto, Nigeria, Brazilian's what she am. Now she's knit to fit like a patchwork quilt, and from her sweat this here country is built. But keep it simple, stupid, call her American. Well, you can just call her American. You can just call her American, though sometimes she ain't quite sure just what that means. But from sea to shining sea, there are 300 million she's, a red, white, and blue, and every in between. Well, you can just call us American. You can just call us American, though sometimes we ain't quite sure just what that means. But from sea to shining sea, there are 300 million we's, a red, white, and blue, and every in between. A red, white, and blue, and every in between. A red, white, and blue, and